Hey, it's Jen Catalanato with Edge Home Group. Today we have Jason here.
Hi, everybody.
To join us. And we also have Brian Boyd with Cross Country Mortgage.
What's going on, guys?
We asked him to come today to kind of talk some strategies for our buyers because, we're in a really competitive housing market. And we think that there's some things that buyers can do to set themselves apart. So, we're going to kind of dive into that. But first, I'd like to say thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
I really
Glad to be here.
appreciate it. So, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're with Cross Country Mortgage.
With Cross Country Mortgage, we've been around for about 15 years. We're licensed in all 50 states. We have local offices here in Tampa. We're a direct lender, so we're not a broker, but we're doing everything in-house from underwriting to processing to funding.
Nice.
So we've got everything basically in one house.
And that speeds up the process, having everybody in the same building.
Oh, it's vital. Absolutely. You can't be sending things other places, waiting on things to get done. It takes too much time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. So this kind of came up, having you come here today is because we were having lunch and we were just kind of talking about the housing market and how we're, seeing some frustration for buyers because it's very competitive, multiple offers. We have these great buyers who are qualified and then they're losing the deal because people are just going a little crazy. So we were thinking about, what are some things that we can do to strategize to make our buyers more appealing to the sellers. And when that conversation came up, you told us about, I think it's a fast track program that you guys
Correct.
offer.
Fast track.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about what the fast track program is?
Sure. I mean, the fast track program basically is designed to take the process and shorten it. So when you get a home and you get financing, a lot of banks take 45, 60 days to actually close a loan. But this new process that we have available, we work behind the scenes as you're shopping for a home so that once you actually find a home and you're already fully credit approved, you can close it as little as 10 days after you sign a purchase contract.
That's great.
So
That's amazing.
Super cool. Yeah.
And the nice thing with that is that you're going to get a letter that we can kind of present it in a way as like, yes, they're financing, but they're just as good as a cash offer.
This is right. I mean, there's so many cash buyers out there, and it's hard to compete when you need financing. But essentially, this is as good as a cash offer. I mean, when it's fully underwritten, the underwriter's already reviewed your W-2s, your pay stubs, your tax returns. They've conditioned you for anything that they need. You get a full certificate that says you're fully credit approved. So there's nothing required from you. Only thing that will be required are stuff related to the actual home, like appraisal, home inspection, title, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it allows you to compete with those offers that you may not be able to get otherwise because cash buyers can just close so quickly. Cash buyers are going to need the same things, the title, the home inspections and all that, so you can essentially close just as quick as a cash buyer might be able to.
Wonderful.
I think this is a great, option for buyers, especially in the certain price points in this market. So with that being said, this sounds like a great program, but how do we start the process? How does a client apply to you to see if this is something that they qualify for?
This is something I think that people can kind of overthink and get intimidated by, especially if they're first-time home buyers. The whole process is super scary, right? Like, oh my gosh, where do I start? It's as simple as a conversation. If you call me, we'll have a conversation. We can do it over the phone, or if you prefer, we can send you a link to our secure website. And you can really just put some vital key information about, where you live, where you work, how much you make, and that sort of thing. So that's basically all it takes to start the process. And then I could kind of walk you through step by step on what we need to do from there and how we proceed forward.
You just hit on a point that I cannot stress enough, and I have this conversation with buyers all the time, is it can seem overwhelming, it can seem scary, especially with first-time home buyers. And the best advice that I can give any buyer entering the market right now is talk to a lender, somebody like this guy, first. They think that the second we go in, that you talk to them, that they're going to want to start running your credit and doing this and doing that. And that's not really what has to happen. They're just going to talk to you about your situation and where you're at and what needs to happen. And sometimes they're going to just, they can tweak things and say, this is what I think we need to do here. Maybe we should do this first, or they can at least point you in the right direction. The other thing is there's, FHA, VA, conventional loans, and all these, scary terms to a lot of home buyers, and they can explain that to you. I mean, the best thing you can do in this process is educate yourself, and that's what we're here for, and that's what they're here for.
Absolutely.
So I love that you brought that up because, we're not here to try to hurry up and get you to sign on the dotted line. We want to advise you on what's the best process for you.
Yeah, it's an education process, right? So knowledge is power. So the more you know, the more comfortable you're going to feel moving through the process. So it starts out with just a general conversation. You know, it's not a high pressure thing where, hey, if I give you the information, you have to do business with me. It's not
That's not
That's
the
a
way
common
that either of us
misconception as well.
operate.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. And so with that being said, you know, we kind of brought up touching on credit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is a minimum credit score that's required to buy a home?
That's a great question. A lot of people have challenges maybe on their credit from something in the past, and some people, they assume, hey, I've got bad credit, I can't buy a home. But what a lot of people don't realize is we do loans for people as low as a 580 credit score.
That's awesome.
So 580 is the minimum requirement, but I'll take it one step further. We have a program where we can analyze their credit, and it will give us steps to say ABC. If you do this, your credit can jump to this. And I've had people rescore their credit in as little as 7 to 10 days and gotten them up like 50 points.
Right.
So that's obviously not always the norm, but there are options. And so I guess what I say is don't assume you don't have a score high enough to qualify for a loan. Talk to us, and if you don't have a score high enough, we'll give you a plan. We'll just won't say, hey, you can't buy a home. Well, that doesn't do anybody any good, right? We put them on a plan. That way we can all stay in touch with you and follow through with that plan and then get you in a home, whether it's 3 months down the road or 6 months down the road or whatever the case
And
may be.
yeah, and to your point, I actually had a buyer call me and he's like, you know, I really want to buy a house, but I don't think I can. I don't, you know, I have some things that are on my credit that I'm worried about, and I'm saving up this money to pay these things off and to do this. And I was like, you know, wait. Like, before you do anything, talk to a lender, because they're, you know, maybe you're thinking that you're going to pay one thing off that's going to make your score jump, and that money could have been used to pay off something else that's going to make it so much better.
Absolutely.
And
We see that a lot.
we do see that a lot, and they take all this money and they tap this money thinking that they're fixing things,
Absolutely.
and they didn't, and then they could have used that money for their down payment or for something else. Like so please just
Talk to
know.
a professional. Don't
Talk-
assume things like even
Right.
paying off cards or closing credit cards, things like that can actually be detrimental
Very
to your
detrimental.
credit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just talk to to a professional before you do anything.
And again, with the credit score being a big concern, you know, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to hurt my credit. Does it hurt my credit score?
Right. So we get asked this a lot, obviously, and the first thing I would say is we don't have to do a hard pull on your credit. It's not required. We have what's called a soft pull, which means we only pull from one of the 3 bureaus. It doesn't even show up as an inquiry in your credit. So that's first and foremost. But there's a misperception that having a lender run your credit has a dramatic impact in your score, and it doesn't. What the credit bureaus don't like is they don't like your credit pulled numerous times within a short period of time. For example, if you went out and you got a car loan, later on that week you apply for a credit card, right? Then you pulled it again. So there's things like that. But also they give you a leeway if you have multiple scores, multiple pulls from a lender within a 30-day period.
Yeah.
There's leniency there, and they know you're going to shop and talk to more than just one lender.
Yeah.
So they're not going to ding you.
For every
Because
pull.
they know that
pull.
you're doing your due diligence and actually researching what your options are. Because if you only talk to one lender, you know, I always recommend, and that's what, you know, you'll see us, we're interviewing Ryan, we've interviewed other lenders in the past. It's because, you know, we work with many lenders because I think you all have something that you bring to the table, and, you know, that we can, you know, again, help our clients be educated on the process.
Right.
So, but again, let's go back to kind of like, how do we get this loan? And the loan is, how much is required to put down when buying a home?
So that's another excellent question. You know, back when I bought a home, we had to put down 20%.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
old. But I got an 8% rate, and I was loving it because that was an awesome rate
At the
back
time.
when I got
Yeah.
done. So
Yeah.
so it's kind of funny. But anyways, you don't have to have a lot of money to put down. A lot of our programs even has as low as 3% down or 3.5% for an FHA loan.
Yep.
And those funds don't all have to come from your own bank account. So if you have a family member that can help and may be able to gift you the money to help towards your down payment.
Information here, I think, to kind of, we don't want to overwhelm you with too much, but there's some great strategies. I think that there's some great things that we can do to help set you apart in this competitive market. And so we just really appreciate Ryan coming here and explaining that. But I think that, you know, one of the points that we went on that was the most important is, you know, don't be afraid to reach out to us. You know, one of the great things about Ryan and why we work with him is that, you know, he's very accessible to our clients. I don't want to make you work 24 hours a day, but I'm going to throw it out there. You know, with these big banks, they're normally there from 9 to 5 and that's it. He's available evenings, he'll answer the phones. And, you know, one of the other things he's done to help us, you know, be more competitive in this market is, you know, there's been times where we'll be in multiple offers and I'm like, Ryan, I need you to call somebody for me. And he'll get on the phone, he'll call the listing agent and kind of, you know, go to bat for us and explain why, you know, they want to take our offer. And that's worked in the past. So I really appreciate it.
Definitely, no problem. I mean, communication is definitely key in our business and what they do and what I do. But it doesn't just start at the beginning. You know, once we get you under contract, we're going to be communicating on a weekly basis. Make sure you understand every step of the way exactly what's going on. We are accessible, obviously. You know, nights and weekends we're always available for you. So that's
say hi.
Rondo has to come into every video to say hi.
He was waiting patiently.
Yeah.
That's right. Here,
So yeah, call, text. Ryan's available. We're available. You know, a lot of the business in real estate gets done after 4 o'clock, guys. So we understand that we've got to be available after that point as well, and we pride ourselves on doing that. And Ryan does as well. That's why we love working with him.
Yes, and so if you want his information, we'll make sure it's attached to this video, and
Thank you.
should be in the post. And then, you know, you could also reach out to us. We're more than happy to put you in touch with him. So thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye. See you
Bye,
guys.
Rocco.
Bye.
Bye.